Hi everyone, welcome back to Startup. This is about cascading in SQL. Before I get started in the video, let me put up a disclaimer that some of the queries and commands I'm going to use in this video are subject to the BBMS software that will be used. So for this video, I'm going to use both this SQL TDM software. So if you're going to use Oracle DBMS software or using MySQL or SQL Server, so keep that in mind that some on the query the commands might win. With that, let's just start with it. Let's just start by understanding what do we exactly mean by cascading in SQL. Well, to go by the definition says that cascading is the automatic propagation of actions from one table to the related table, which is referring to our first table using the foreign cascade. What do I mean by that? Well, if you want to understand this with an example, consider that there are two trolleys. Both of them are attached to each other using a rope. So there is trolley A and trolley B. So if I just move that trolley B in a forward direction, what will happen? Because there is this rope attached to the trolley A, this trolley A will also propagate in the forward direction. Right? Something similar is happening in cascading, SQL cascading as well. So if there is any changes in the reference table, the same changes or some other changes are also propagated to the referencing table. Few keywords you have to remember from the definition is the action, the propagating action to the referencing table and the action we are performing in the reference table. What are the different actions we can perform on the table? If we take a closer look at the data manipulations we can perform on database table are basically CRUD operations. What are the CRUD operations? Insert, update, delete, and read operation on the database table data. From this, the actual modification is done through these two actions. One is the update action and another one is the delete action. But based on this action as well, we are having two types of cascading. One is update cascade, second one is the delete cascade. Based on the action we can perform on the data of an existing table. Let's understand scenarios before cascading. To understand these scenarios better, let's take an example with two entities. First one is the customer, second one is the order table. And customer can only create the orders for whatever the items he likes. So these are the two basic queries for customer table and the order table. If we look at the order table, and one thing which is of most concern for us is the query. So in here we can see that we are using a foreign key which is referring to the customer table, customer ID for. And as we know, the key which we are referring to the customer table is the primary. So any changes in this primary key, either we are updating this primary key or removing this primary key from the customer table will affect the order table as well. So this relationship between a customer table and the order table is one-to-one relationship. Okay. Now let's observe what the scenarios of changing this primary key column values of the customer table and how it affects the order table. What we are doing before cascading scenarios. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to update the primary key of the customer table. It's not the ideal scenario, but just for the example purpose, we can understand this. Now let's try to update this one. Okay, I'm going to execute this query, and as you can see that the query is failing with an error which is saying that these records from the order table are being referred to our customer table. So if I just change the primary key value of the customer table record, then the value which is present in the order table foreign key will mismatch. Okay, but this is going to cause a beta integration for us because the changed value is not reflecting in the order table foreign key column. So that value which is present in the foreign key of the order table will not exist anymore. And if I try to fix a record with that foreign key value, it's not available, right? This is a data integration. Let's take an example of the delete scenario as well. So in first case, we have updated the foreign key. In the second case, we are completely going to remove that first record which is available in the customer table. I'm going to run the delete query for this record which is present at the customer table. Let's see what's the result we are getting once we are going to run this query. Okay, as you can see, the query is spinning, but the message is saying that that record is being referred by the records from the order table. Same thing. Data integrity. This was the behavior of a normal update or delete operations on the table, a reference table, which is referenced by the order table. Okay. Now, let's say I want to perform this operation. How am I going to do that? To use this cascading, I have to modify the order table, create query a little bit. So I'm going to create a new order table, create all the things are going to be same. Data say, table say. Then that the order table following comes here. After that, I'm going to use the cascade command. So I'm going to use, for the first scenario, I'm going to use the on update cascade. Now, let's perform that update operation on the customer table record. As you can see that we are not getting any issues while running this update query, right? So we get what we want. Let's check the tables data from for customer table and the order table. So in customer table here, you can see that the primary key value is changed. And if we look at the orders table value here, you can see that the values for the foreign P column is also changed, right? So Cascading allows us to propagate that update operations from the customer table to the order table as such. Now let's understand the second type, which is the delete cascade. Okay, for the delete cascade, what I'm going to do is, instead of using on update cascade, I'm going to replace it on delete cascade and the order table. I'm going to create a table. The data is going to be same as well. Now I'm going to perform this delete update. So once, let's see what's the result. So if you look at the customer table, where we can see that the data is not available. And if I just press the records from the order table here at the recent period, there is no record available. So what happened here is that once I deleted the record from the customer table, the same action is being propagated to the order table. So all the records which is associated with the records which I have deleted from the customer table, all these reference records are also doing it. So same actions is propagated from customer table to the order table. Okay. One thing you must have observed that the action which is propagating to the order table, okay, it's the same action that once I'm updating, perform the on update action, that same action is being propagated to the referencing table, and same is true for the delete action as well. In case if I want to change that behavior a little bit, that in case of update action from the reference table, I want to perform some other, propagate some other action to the referencing table, like it's in the order table. For that, we can set the value of cascade, and these are all the values of cascade they can set. Let's look at the first one. So, okay, so in one-to-many relationship, we can consider the reference table as the parent table and the referencing table as the child table. Okay, so this child table is order table. First one is the set null. So set null, what it will do is, let's understand all this scenario with a on delete action. So in on delete, if I use on delete set null, what will happen is once I delete the record from the customer table, all the records which is referring to that customer table record in the order table, the foreign key column value are going to be set as null. Okay. And for the second one, which is set default, if we are using any default constraint for that foreign key value or foreign key column, then we can use this set default cascade. In this case, what happens is that default value will be taken whenever we delete any records from the customer table. And for the last one, which is the restrict and no action kind of like that thing, these actions are these values are kind of act like the behavior before the cascade. So this was about the cascading in SQL regarding the. Now I want to drop this customer table. Will it allow? No, it will not allow. Even if you use cascading in the order table, it will not allow you to drop this customer table. Okay, and that's where the concept of drop cascade comes in picture. If I want to drop a table which are being referred by other table, I have to use the drop cascade. In this case, if we go by the definition, in case of the drop cascade, what happens is that once we delete a table, all the dependent table or the referencing tables are also dropped. When this is what the definition says. But this behavior is changing from the linear software to linear software. In case of the PostgreSQL, what happens is that once I drop a table, all the dependent table foreign key column constraint is also dropped. Okay, along with the indexes and views, the constraint of the foreign key column is also dropped. What do I mean by that? If you were to take that same previous example, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the customer table with. So before cascading and after cascading, I'm also going to show you. So before cascading, if I were to run this one, okay, as you can see that you are getting error. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add cascade in the prompt. Okay, at the last sentence I have to use a cascade. So if I run this query now, here you can see that query is successful. Now if I go back to and check the available tables, if I just place all the records from the order tables, here you can see that customer ID column is there. But if I check the constraint for this orders table, here you can see that foreign key constraint is dropped. Okay. So you have to remember this behavior for the drop cascade. Whenever whenever we drop any table, all the dependent tables foreign key column constraint is dropped. Okay. So this was about the cascading in SQL. I hope you got something out of this video and enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching this video.